Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to day 4 of the GG.BET Birmingham Invitational, presented to you by Maincast. We have some great Dota 2 action coming up for you guys today. 2 BO3 series in the decider matches of both Group A and Group B. Last day before the playoffs get underway. Expecting some good Dota, but Lizard, what do you look to see here?
Some great CIS action that we're starting off with. We're going to see Pango versus Old But Gold. This is Old But Gold beat Navi, obviously, Pango as well. So it's going to be interesting to see which one of these two teams is the best CIS team after Empire, VP,
and Gambit.
And Gambit.
But that fourth spot does certainly have a lot of competition.
Very important.
Yeah, our second match of the evening, of course, is going to be Empire versus the Final Tribe. Looking forward to that one specifically. It looked like TFT turned it up a bit yesterday, certainly more solid strategically.
Yeah, they looked super solid. Like, there's a reason why they did well in that major. I keep on repeating this, and I really think that strategically, perhaps they're the most solid-looking team right now. Yeah. I think that they have... You know what I was thinking? Like, yesterday we saw the perfect example of teams that have these... that have this division between their position 1 and position 2. Who takes the farm early on, who's the greedier one. And I think it's so important for these tier 2 teams to just not...
It simplifies the game, right? Mm-hmm. When you know, like, look, I'm going to just try and make space. It's okay. I don't have to feel bad about having an inefficient farming rotation or wasting a TP here and there because it's my job to be active. The same way... Now, your one position, if you know, look, I'm just trying to scale and accelerate. It makes itemization easier, just all these decisions.
I believe it's their biggest difficulty as well. Like, it's their hardest bridge to cross because these teams, they have these position 1 and 2 players that aren't as versatile as some tier 1 teams do, right? Like, as some tier 1 position 1s and 2. So, if you are, let's say, Pango, Old But Gold, you're a couple of friends, old school players, you kind of stack together because you haven't played together for a long time, you think you can do it, you like each other. It doesn't necessarily mean that you sync well together as players. You might play similar heroes, similar position 1s and 2s, right? Like, you have these players that play, like, we saw recently Storm and Arc Warden. It's my best example. You have players that want these heroes that are comfortable on them, but at the same time, those two heroes don't really work well together in a team. Tier 1 teams, like, you always have, like, this position 1, like, that's gonna create space or that's gonna farm super well, and position 2 that's gonna do the same thing, right? Like, the division is very apparent, like mid one
and
right?
I think we've talked about it a bit, and it's a concept that I feel like I'm going to spend more time as, like, tournaments drag on, like, trying to explain properly, because I think this concept of cores that prefer that scale into the early mid-game, that rather are activated by experience and leveling up in comparison to acquiring items, is a very interesting concept. And when you see teams that draft 3 cores that all need certain items to be relevant, there's no one that can just sort of, you know, oh, I'm level 6, I'm level 7. Like we saw Old But Gold do yesterday with the Illidan Leshrac, right? He had level 7 and just started running around the map, killed 5 heroes, 4 towers in the first 15 minutes of the game, blew it open, and it simplified G's game significantly because he's just playing SF, farms a mech, he's like, all right, my turn, guys, let's go get it on.
And that, like, lineup that was playing against them, that draft that was drafted for the enemy team, as my ex-teammate would say, like, he wouldn't draft that to his worst enemy, you know? Like, it's like you have these heroes, they take so much time to come online. As you said, like, some heroes, they just need levels. That's all you need to activate them. That's it.
And you might actually have a kind of a similar scenario here with Old But Gold, where you've got the Bounty, the Doom, and the Dusa. No real natural playmakers. You could consider Bounty Hunter one of them, but the new way to play him, it just feels like until you've got phase drums online, you're not really trying to leave the lane. Very strong laner, however.
What's worrying me, though, this might be an offlane bounty, right? Because they might put Doom on 4.
That's true.
As you have this life stealer that just destroys Doom on the lane, so you don't really want to lane that way, I believe.
Yeah, and notably also, just to note the bans here, Pango choosing to take out the Velhior Tiny. I think that's a very good decision based on how he was playing that yesterday. Did so much work consistently finding not just the superior initiation, but a couple times tossing teammates in or out of conflicts to
that
great
guy
reward.
is just an amazing Tiny player overall. He has proven that on multiple tournaments so far, and banning out that Tiny against him is like a no-brainer pretty much.
For sure. Brew's going to be the last ban by All But Gold. I like that decision. Pango, bit ballsy here, taking OD into a Doom, but it's just such a good counter to Dusa. It's understandable. This was like the old school VP counter, though. You run this Doom, you pop it on the OD and run it in. It was a very effective way to ensure you win those big team fights.
Yeah, OD is one of those heroes. If he's doomed, like, he can absolutely do nothing.
Yeah. And both these teams, really different stories in a lot of ways. The Pango, really just Ghostix baby, a player that I credit simply because he's one of the few people that I know for certain is actively trying to build a roster and doing the real work. A lot of players just grind pubs and wait for somebody to invite them into the team, but I know for a fact that, you know, after this last TI, he was really just trying to put together a good stack. And,
reaching out to people all the time, right? Yeah.
He asked if I wanted to play, and honestly, I would have considered it were I not, you know, not a player.
Yeah, considering how good he is. Like.
Yeah, but then he's like, when I'm like, yeah, nah, I'm going to cast, blah, blah, blah. He's like, well, okay, what do you do? Are there any players you could think of like that are good? You know, this sort of, I respect people that are willing to, that will ask questions of everyone. I think that there's a misconception that you can only get good advice from people that have like already, you know, succeeded, right? Like if you aren't talking to Puppy about building a team, you're wasting your time. It's silly. CK last pick, I love that. It's great synergy as well with the G Medusa, and that's probably Illidan's most iconic hero.
Yeah, it's like Chaos Knight, Lash, and perhaps Razor. But most importantly, Chaos Knight and Razor.
Yeah.
I remember like 1.5 years ago, he was playing in SFT with Thompson, and basically CK and Razor were in the meta. My team lost like 7 consecutive scrims versus them, and then we lost in tournaments. Like, the viewers from my stream were memeing about it, like just, you know that meme when you open doors and there's a guy with a belt. It's basically SFT with a belt, Illidan with a belt, Chaos Knight or Razor. That guy on those heroes feels super comfortable. What do you think about CK versus OD though? Like,
it's a hard counter. I think. Well, okay, it goes both ways, right? Because obviously the OD orb is gonna deal with the illusions, and a hammer could as well. But the thing about CK, it's all about the level 20 timing. When you get Reality Rift, pierces, spell immunity, and you pop ult.
And you
are the big daddy with the belt, okay? And as far as all heroes in Dota go, there is no hero more threatening as like a physical damage dealer against BKBs than a level 20 CK with Phantasm up. You explode things. Doesn't matter how much armor they have. Specifically heroes like OD and Lifestealer, which is another hero that has a very difficult time dealing with the Chaos Knight.
The way I see it, though, it's a little bit... It can go both ways. Yeah, certainly CK is really strong in that aspect if he gets to that position in the game. Honestly, you're right. He's going to get there because you have the Nikes that's going to be building into a Radiance. He's not going to be online very soon. So I guess they're going to have to have this OD that's super active across the map. So the OD and the Beastmaster are going to have to carry the full weight early on for the Pango.
It's also near impossible to lane as a Beastmaster against CK. You end up just getting your boars reality rifted. They feed. It's just more gold, more experience going the way of that safe laner, and you don't have a disable, you don't have a stun, so you just catch a reality rift stun, and then Jakiro as well, one of the strongest laners with the CK actually. Probably my favorite dual lane combination and something we used to do a lot in Complexity.
So beefy actually. It's going to be very difficult to
because you both hit so hard. You've got like 700, 800 HP. And you've got stun, like multiple methods of slow and stun on both heroes.
I have to admit, I really, like, as we were talking about it, I can see some flaws in the Pango's lineup. Specifically, this OD and Beast are going to have to be super active. The OD has to be the one, like Iceberg. I love when this guy carries you the game. I love when you give him a hero that just scales. Like, when he was playing in Winstrike, another team that rose to greatness. Well, greatness. They got from like a trash team in CIS to TI, right?
Hey, that's...
No, really, really. When they started playing, no one knew about them. Like they weren't doing that well, and then they rose to TI, and they had this specific division between Iceberg and Silent. If Silent is playing some PL that's not gonna come online, Iceberg is playing something super active. If Iceberg is not playing something super active, then Silent is. And in this game, I think that Iceberg is gonna have to be the one that kind of carries them through that mid game. How much can an OD do, specifically if he doesn't itemize that way? I'm not really certain. We'll have to wait and see. I don't see that happening, but it's possible. Because you're going to have this Nikes building Radiance, I think 90% because he's playing versus CK, right? You want that. It's not bad. But what do you think? Like, it's good versus Illusions, right? But if you go for some damage active build, like Midas Armored Desolator, it's also very good versus CK if you can just catch him.
It's tough because on one hand, the Radiance is excellent against Dusa and CK. They don't want to buy MKB, so you're effectively just reducing their damage output by 17% thanks to the mischance on all. And it's great as well, of course, just to clear the illusions to prevent their damage output. So it's tough. I think you want the Radiance, but it's that concern where it feels like all of Pango's heroes, once again, they all need gold.
Yeah.
No one's gonna look to, you know, hit a power spike because they got an ultimate, they want to go rotate. You could do it with the Beastmaster, but I think their draft's success is dependent upon having a very strong laning phase, activating the Furion, getting those early towers, and then abusing map control and superior wave clear. If they don't get to that point, like, Bounty Hunters are gonna eat these supports alive all game, specifically the Furion.
It's actually one of those bounty hunter games in which you can hunt down supports all the time, and that's pretty much what you want to have as a core bounty hunter. You want to be playing versus supports that can die to like a 2 Jinada hits. Look at this clash on the mid lane as we zoom
Look
out.
at that peaceful river. You know, I never realized that it flowed in a certain direction, but that makes sense because there's the waterfall all the way on the top left side of the map. Huh.
Oh, the odds actually. Look at that. Heavily favoring gold, but gold.
Maybe they must know something we don't as far as like the CIS betting community goes, because I would not say that this is like an 8-to-1 favored lineup.
The thing is, basically, Old But Gold is a team that's like coming into the scene, and they just recently started winning, and they're on a rise. While at the same time, Pango is a team that has suffered some player changes, you know, roster changes, so maybe that's one of the reasons.
Oh my God, look down bottom. Even Lifestealer, we were talking about the CK versus Beast matchup, but honestly, Lifestealer, very low armor hero in the laning phase, and CK is one of the only heroes in Dota you cannot trade with thanks to Feast, because he's just going to crit you over and over with heal. Exactly.
That's change. Like, that change to crit heal was so significant. CK started being played as 4, if you remember. Sorry, as 3, like on the offlane. They kind of nerfed it a bit, They nerfed it a bit, but he's still really strong. I love CK too, but it can be very difficult to play around your ulti because of that super long cooldown.
Hey, at least they change it so it's not completely RNG. I mean, there are times where it's like you're level 6. If you get that extra illusion, you're finding the kill. If not, you don't. It was just silly, really. It was a bit too much RNG, to be quite honest.
But you know, like, I don't know if you remember in Dota 1, he was always called Chaos Knight for a reason, had that damage disparity that was super chaotic. You could hit someone for like 50 damage, you could hit him for 100 or something.
Yeah, because it's something I don't know if many people realize, but the numbers, if you look at the auto attack damage on OD, it's not actually 67 plus 2. It's somewhere between like 56
and
82,
whatever,
right?
And
there's a roll attached. It's just that we've taken for it.
It's an average. Like, this is an average that's written, and CK has like the most
it was
wild
like 50,
50 disparity, like difference between the lowest and the biggest number. That's why his stun is also like 1 second or 4 seconds, you know.
Yeah, and the damage, of course, inversely scaling with the duration. That's why a lot of the time you see CKs keep stun level 1, because it's often going to be you have a higher chance to roll max damage, and the stun damage doesn't also scale as well as the duration. So 1 point's quite nice. Anyway, enough discussion about mechanics. We're 3 minutes in. Still a static game thus far. All the lanes seem pretty damn even. He just astraled himself for this. Okay, to dodge the snake, that makes sense. Bottom lane, Naive taking a lot of pressure.
Yeah, with that lift, he should be able to survive, but they are pressured quite high. You can see that Illidan is 7 CS ahead of the Nikes. He's doing really well on the lane so far.
Rubik, in comparison to Jakiro, is just completely worthless as a laner. Like, Vanscore could just spam out that liquid fire, the dual breath. Like, what's Vampire gonna do? You know, hit him with the Fade Bolt and Giggle?
I mean, Fade Bolt isn't that bad in the laning stage, but when you start like he started with boots and 3 tangos, and you want to duel in a way in which you're trading hits all the time, those boots aren't going to help you whatsoever. You're not going to have mana for those Fade Balls that are already not as effective as Dual Breath or Liquid Fire.
Oh, look at this. The 4-position Doom looks great if you can just eat that tasty boar for breakfast every time Ghostic throws one up for you. And
one of the biggest counters to Beastmaster when he was spammed all the time was Chen, right? Because you could take that boar. Also Enchantress, people figured it out. Let's just play this as position 5 and take his boars. I didn't think about Doom being utilized that way, but yeah, it seems to be working out. Yeah.
Oh, bottom lane, they're going to go for Naive. He's got the rage, though. He should be just fine.
Illidan just gets that one crit.
The problem with Rubik support is you'd much prefer a timely iceberg regen rune there, but you want to play Rubik with a hero that also helps you push the lane, and you just show up, you Fade Bolt, your core uses their nuke, and you can at the very least trade, but with a Life Stealer, you just can't function this way that you'd like to. Nice glyph by G to not just deal with Iceberg's mana.
Actually, look at the CS difference now. 30 CS on CK, 11 on Nyx. They have to do something about that lane. I believe they need to rotate someone down there. Perhaps this Furion can port, and it seems like he's gonna port, and we might see a fight around that bottom rune. Yeah. Here we go, Vanscore sprouted.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't put the Furion against the CK lane, but they probably are thinking like it's, will he get the TP? Yes, he will. Vanscore going to get that canceled. Surprising that he used it in the first place, to be quite honest. He'll run back towards the bottom lane
Furion,
now.
Maybe with some good body blocks, as there are no boots on Vanscore. Can he block him? Let's see. He's not really... Okay.
Got a Sprout, yeah. No trees to eat. Lifestealer not going to be able to run over, however. They're going to continue to try and block out Vanscore. Pops the stick and will actually go down. A bit of a misplay. I would have liked to see him just run up, or just anywhere that wasn't directly into Slayer and his tree ends.
Yeah. Like, that was very... peculiar that he just
yeah,
ran
especially because his core is so far ahead that leaving them in a one-on-one scenario is definitely advantageous for the CK.
Very strange indeed. Iceberg has to be careful as there's Valhyor
lurking from behind. Should probably make it down bottom. Illidan's getting gone, but he's already got phase boots and that Blightstone. He should be all good.
Yeah, but this is something that they definitely needed to do, right? Like, you have to tri-lane the CK from now on as he's rolling out of control. This is like something that I really like to see from teams. It's the lane check, right? I discussed this a little bit.
Hang on, they're going mid on Iceberg. Valhyor is here. He's got that Saturn nuke ready as well. Will it be enough damage, though? Nice Sprout from Slayer, but he may, as you can see, like a pack of thirsty or hungry wolves, rather. They change targets immediately.
Sadly, they're not as fast as wolves, so he's able to escape. Yeah. I was discussing with Complexity's coach, ex-coach. What? Not Complexity. Wait, Fanatics. What's her name again?
Kips.
Kips. Yeah. How did I forget that? Like, I met her so many times. Anyways, I was talking about her and the lane check, right? Like, 5 minutes in, you check the lanes. They're gonna check Slayer here.
Oh, nice. Seder Blast should hopefully be enough to get the kill, but no, it will not. He goes for one more attack on Vanscore to help out with that Blightstone attack, but I don't know if that's going to be helpful. Look at Ghostic. Nice Ice Path as well from Vanscore. Will be taken down by the board, but no one on Dire getting experience for that kill.
Yeah, that's 2 kills going the way of... it's good.
It just feels like they're tri-laning bot, but it was too late. Illidan's just far too powerful at this point. You're going to rotate Iceberg down bottom as well, but it's just not effective. And
yeah, it looks like Iceberg wants to do something about the CK as well. They want to put more resources into shutting him down as he's having like such a good game here. It's crazy how well Oba Gold's been performing thus far in the event. I mean, you look at the roster and there's a lot of legendary names, but I'll be honest, from the community's read is probably more so that these are a bunch of washed up players, not necessarily players. I mean, G, I think, competed at 2 or 3 TIs, was a member of so many of those Virtus Pro teams that made deep runs at tournaments. BZZ, not just a meme for his Pugna set, but I think he's a veteran of multiple TIs. Well, not recently, of course, but, you know, just some old guys trying to play Dotes. These are some CIS players that have been around for a long time and have played together in different stacks too, so it's kind of understandable that they can click in fast together. They actually lost... The way they played the Dream League qualifier wasn't really great. They were pinging each other every time they would fail. You could see a lot of anger in them as well, but they've improved significantly afterwards. They play, like, their strategical approach to the game is much better than it used to be.
That's a clash here on mid. They're going to pop the roar onto the Dusa. OD beating him into as well. Nice ice path from Vanscourt is trying to lay the damage. G is going to be maybe taken down. He's out of melee. Yeah, he is dead for sure. They're on the track of Iceberg, specifically with that bounty hunter track. The Vanscourt Liquid Fire will not connect.
Iceberg.
Must be enough. Veliers with nice body blocks. Goes to continuing to chase. Vanscourt's going to get the TP out. I think Velier might be dead here. You can see -2 armor.
BZZ tries there with the Shuriken toss. He had the track on the OD, so he tried to Shuriken toss the Ancient Creep, but OD was way too far away. He actually escaped with 1% HP right there. Very unfortunate for them to not get the OD at least.
And this is, of course, just because the CK, strongest hero on map for all but gold of Illidan, is actually just still pushing that top tower. There'll be a TP bottom. They're going for BZZ. Does not have the mana just yet. Oh, mangled by Velier, however, so now he will have enough mana for an invis. Will be enough is the question. I don't believe they have any dust. Velier now on the escape. They need more heroes here if they're going to try and defend this. Velier looks like he may just die again. Another ice path, but just not enough. Oh, but gold just outnumbered around their tier 1 tower, and this is exactly what the Pango needed. You've got to utilize this early game Furion to find kills, and of course, these juicy towers. We will lose our first one of this match just before the 10-minute bounty rune spawn.
Not only did they... the only downside for them is that Duza is farming the jungle, the CK is pushing top, so... Yeah, the Pango, they are definitely doing what they have to be doing, right? Like rotating in numbers, taking objectives. Is it really worth it for them? In the long run, I'm not so certain.
And we will find out. There's a ton of space for the CK, of course. Illidan's been free farming that top area of the map for some time now. Was able to take the tower down uncontested.
Yeah, look at the network charts as well. Three cores of all but gold are on the top. And then you're going to have the Doom that's going to scale really well soon.
Oh.
Vampire. Ghost Stick.
He's going to be able to find this kill. Looks like that's a track kill for the bounty hunter. And
wasn't there a... all right, there's a roar on Beastmaster. So, all right, if he cancelled and roared bounty, that Rubik survives. Guess he had different plans.
You got to get those creeps.
Yeah, got to farm a bit, I suppose.
It just, man, I feel like a broken record, by the way, because it's exactly what we talked about to open the stream. When you pick all these heroes that need gold, it just feels like your draft doesn't have an identity. A Life Stealer with Phase Boots now rushing a Midas, whereas the Beastmaster is rushed to Vlad's.
Yeah.
But they aren't ready to play together.
Yeah.
I don't know what the OD has.
That Vlad just doesn't feel great. It's one of the reasons why heroes such as SF or Viper didn't work in pubs as well in pro games. You have this hero that wants to buy Greaves and wants to have his teammates around him pushing, taking objectives, but in pubs that's very hard to execute. It's very hard to make your teammates follow you and not lose themselves in the jungle farming some small camp, right?
Yeah, they're going to pop the dust. BZZ, though, timely. Make sure to break the invis. You no longer are slowed by dust if you become visible, of course. It's why you see a lot of bounty hunters have some method of canceling the invis. Or can you just cancel it naturally now?
No, you can't. You can't.
Yeah, you need a stick or something like that.
Stick, phase boots, whatever.
Look to push middle now, but as you can see, the Deuce already planted here. They're going to get the roar off on the Jakiro, but CK is now here with a force. The OD ult's going to pop out to prevent the CK ultimate, but they only lose the one. Rubik will go down. That is a track kill, I do believe. Now on to OD. Illidan continuing to pursue. Will hit another reality rift. The Doom 2. That's going to be a dead OD for sure. Iceberg in a lot of trouble, and they're even saving the kill for G. That's a track, and oh no, Slayer, if he got tracked there, he's going to die as well, and he did.
Got tracked. He ported in to try and take that invis rune. Yeah, he did take it. Nice try to push himself on the uphill. Sadly, didn't work.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, though. When you consider where's Lifestealer and all this, farming the jungle alone. You're making a huge move here, but you just don't have the tools to do so. You open with a roar onto the Jakiro as well. That's a level 5 hero.
Yeah.
If you're not able to take out the Dusa like you were in that initial engagement they took the tier 1 while back.
Even if you take down that Dusa, there's so many heroes on the side of Old But Gold that dish out so much damage right now without items. Just the levels are what they needed.
They're just strong. They feel so much stronger.
On the side of Pango, you have this OD. Yeah, like the hero can scale into the mid game if you itemize him that way, but he's not the strongest scaling mid gamer anyway.
And both your supports just feel kind of useless as well. Rubik's finally hit 6, but the problem is, like right here, you can see the support Furion against core bounty is just absolutely miserable. There's nothing you can do. Even if you try and TP out, you're just going to get shurikened. All BZZ has to do is walk at you, and another kill for G. Yeah.
Gave the kill to G, has Yasha, 2 raid bands, moving towards that Manta. We see
Dude,
a lot
look at
more
the goal.
Mantas on.
5K.
Yeah, 5K, 14 minutes in. That's not where you want to be at all.
It's a 14-minute Manta on the Medusa as
Oh,
well. Another smoke popped by BZZ, man. This guy is everywhere. And it's just so easy. This is exactly what we're talking about with a cool role distribution. Deuce is AFK farming. The CK is getting involved every once in a while. And BZZ is just running rampant
so
around
good.
the map. Just
it's such a good play that they with this bounty hunter. He doesn't have to be farming. Just give vision this game. It's so important. It's adamant that this Duza just has the freest time of her life in the jungle. Same goes for CK. And then bounty, what is he doing? He's just breaking smokes. Even if they do dust him there and they start chasing him, he's still fine. Specifically with the item build that he has. I don't know if you noticed, like.
Oh, Naive in some trouble. I do believe the Doom is up on Bell
Rubik is there.
Illidan's going to go in. We'll be able to get the right one. Oh my god, the Reality Rift. Rubik just getting absolutely shredded. Vampire doing what he can. Illidan actually going to push forwards, looking for the Lifestealer. Man, that travel... Did they nerf the travel distance, or whatever it's called? That looked like a slow-moving stun.
Perhaps it was like the max range as well. They're chasing super.
Holy crap. Yeah, he's going in, and look at the Reality Rift. Just one attack from Illidan, all those illusions, takes Lifestealer down half HP, and he's still going in. Ghostic, you got to help your boy. Lifestealer in trouble in the base. Illidan, however, looks like he will just... No, he's going to turn around. BZZ now in trouble. There's 5 heroes. Illidan, you are in no man's land, my friend, but he will narrowly escape.
Okay, that was maybe a little bit deep. Perhaps they do a little bit too much. But overall, Duza farming.
And also the bounty runes, right?
And
you got all 4, if I'm not mistaken. And
yeah,
you lose 2, but the gold advantage actually went up for Old But Gold because they're dying, sure, but if you look at where the Dire team is now positioned, Lifestealer's TP'd here. The other 4 heroes, all in their own side of the map, stuck in their jungle, as you said. There's nothing to do there. The tower is dead. That is actually Dire's dead lane, and because of that, I guess you could call it a feed, you've bought so much space for G's Deuce as well. Now
I'm pretty certain All But Gold didn't really strategically overthink that action.
It was all part of the plan.
It wasn't a part of a plan, but it happened and it worked out well for them, even though they fed 2.
And this just feels bad if you're Naive. You are unable to battle up against just a bounty hunter 1v1, and now in some trouble. He's not going to get the heal off, unfortunately, from that creep bust, and now BZZ will get that last touch. They're going to go for Illidan now. He's very tanky, though. I don't know if you want to do this. More heroes on the way, and look at Ghostic. He's actually going down, but Iceberg's here. You do not want to mess with the OD. Slayer looking to try and get a disable onto Illidan thanks to the Sprout. The dust comes out as well, but BZZ nowhere in sight. Moved over to Dire Vision. We see them try and hunt towards Illidan. They're going to find it with the bird,
those
but no
Sprouts actually
disables.
blocked them. They couldn't move towards him because of the Sprout as well. They didn't have, like, they had a different way, but it wasn't really optimal.
Vance going in some trouble now. Iceberg, though, look at, oh my god, the Mystic Snake. Iceberg now completely out of mana. He can't cast a single spell.
And you can see the item build from Iceberg. He realizes that he has to be the one that creates space. And he did go for that Atos Null Talisman, so he is able to fight right now, but they're just not doing it well. Also, that's like the 3rd time that the Dust whiffed. It completely missed the Bounty Hunter. And honestly, with this build of Bounty Hunter, even if that Dust connects, like you have drums and phases. Drums, phases, you're gone, man. There's no catching you.
And what's crazy as well, like, I love this decision. Illidan's rushing Halberd, and G's just going for a butterfly with the evasion piece first. You look at the Pango lineup, part of the reason they're having such difficulties in this early mid-game, there's no magic damage. They have no spells. It's all physical right clicks. Any sort of evasion, like, you're going to make this OD worthless. By the time he's actually able to attack after that 5-second disarm, fight's going to be over. They won't have the damage. So, the old school Wings way of countering heroes like OD was always super cool. They'd pick a ton of attack-based minions or just bullshit that OD would waste auto attacks on, because that's all you are is an auto attack. So if you have evasion, Weaver Bugs, Forge Spirits, Veno Wards, you know, it just becomes near impossible to play OD because you've got so much garbage wasting your time. And they're just going to walk down mid. They just finished Aegis. 7k gold lead. Vel here now moving into the back line.
But Velhor is going to connect to Iceberg. He has to be careful. Doom is there. And now this is a dead OD.
Wow.
They are split pushing really well, but at the same time they're going to be forced back, I believe. Let's see, however. I wonder if they're going to try and pursue. If they, like,
you've got to. That's your only option.
Yeah, you have Beast, you have Furion. I guess you go down.
It's going to be curious to see how, oh, yep, perfect, yep. Who's going to defend? Vanscore. He doesn't even give a damn if he dies. He'll tank the roar, but that Macropyre will most likely take out the entire creep wave. They're going to glyph to ensure it stays alive, but...
And it's a double effect as well. They fortify their side of the map and they fortify the creep, so very good fortification right there.
Yep, and now I like the decision by OBLKold. Just get the tier 3, try and defend your own, but actually, no, they will not be able to.
Yeah, this is pretty well played by Pango overall, considering... Oh, that was close. Anyways, OD did die. That was a little bit of a mistake, obviously, but taking down that tier 3 on the bottom lane and trading for it in a situation such as this one in which they have absolutely no ways of fighting all but gold is optimal for them. So
Illidan still with his ult up. Slayer, yeah, you may just be dead, my friend, although Iceberg is here with that Atos. He identifies the real one because Illidan was moving just that one. Slayer, however, will be saved by the defensive Astral.
There are illusions around, though. Let's see. Yeah, one more hit.
Got him.
Got him.
Illidan's just so strong at the moment. Iceberg knows he has no place here, and even if they try and go in, as you can see, he's just going to halberd him again. Like, what's up, bro? They're going to disable him as they can, but you can see just how effective this item is as G continues to shove down bottom. With Aegis acquired, they do the old Radiant switcheroo and immediately move down towards the bottom lane to collect those free towers.
They
Butterfly
really
soon to be complete as well.
They really need that Radiance on the Nyx. He has that rally completed. Does not have the recipe yet.
And if G gets this last hit, that will be his Butterfly. Slayer looking to go for the rune here, but again, is this really worth it for yourself, man? A track kill is no laughing matter. 11k gold lead all of a sudden.
A track kill and a Janada hit. I mean, track gold isn't really that significant for your allies any longer, but for yourself, it's pretty good. And you can see that the Bounty Hunter is having a blast this game. Even though he's giving a lot of info running across the map, he's still 9k net worth. He's going to find...
How many? It's just he's just feeding on these supports as well. It's insane.
Remember yesterday, like Bounty was playing versus Earth Spirit plus Jakiro. He just could never take them down. He like that Janada would tickle them pretty much. Here you hit. Look, that's the track. That's the track as well that helped out. So pretty well played. My
God, and G just going to continue walking up. Still with Aegis for a minute. They've got Butterfly compete. Pango still making the best of a bad situation. They're shoving top, but they're going to get glyphed on. And I don't know what you do here. You're going to end up losing 2 racks if you're not careful. OBLKold are taking down mid. Bell here in the meantime, bottom gets the Doom onto the Lifestealer. He might just go down here. The Roar will come out onto the CK. Jakiro with a great Ice Path, however. Macropyre on top. That's going to be 2 kills. Now OD, he's immediately dragged in and disarmed. There's absolutely nothing Iceberg can do.
He can Astral himself, survive for 1 split second more, and then call GG afterwards. But, I mean, this was such a stomp. I can understand the odds right now much better. All but gold, they were favored, right, by the odds. They were, right?
Yeah.
So
it feels like I'm watching myself play a pub that was miserable, where I'm desperately trying to make space and make moves as a support, and I have 0 cores trying to play Dota 2. Naive Lifestealer, I understand you feel like you need this Radiance, but if there was ever a game to skip Midas, ever a game to perhaps go Armlet first, I feel like it has to be this one. He was a complete non-factor, and he never even gets the Radiance by the time his base is dead.
I think perhaps the Radiance would have been a good option for him if he had a team. But in this game, all of them, they're so useless as for early on that they have no damage. They can't fight. Like, we could see that one rotation behind the tier 1. They go there, they roar the Jakiro, and then they just start running because there's no damage. There's some Furion's ulti that's coming after 3 seconds. That's their magical damage. That's it. Furion's ulti and Fade Bolt.
And I got to give credence, just kudos really to OBLKold. I feel like they checked all the boxes. Doom even, eating the Wolf Creep, playing with it the entire game after the 10-minute mark. Tons of damage amplification for his roster. And in general, just a better understanding of how to win that game of Dota. Yeah, that's it for game 1. A total stomp, really, by OBLKold. We'll see if Pango can bounce back in game 2. Bear in mind, this is an elimination series. Come back in a bit.